In a world where tens of thousands of indie games are released each year, indie devs cry out to be heard, to be seen. And it's up to two brothers to get to know them.
Super Interview.
Hello world, my name is Mack Stein and I love indie games.
I'm the Megabuck. I really love indie games.
And welcome to the Super Interview Brothers, where two real-life brothers, Buck and myself, interview real-life indie game developers so that we can get to know the people that make those artifacts that we love so much, known as video games. Today, in the studio, with us, we have the creator of a very scary narrative-based horror game called Shutter Story. We have Armaan Sandhu. Armaan, say hello.
Hello. Really happy to be here.
Very good. I love it when they say that. We have a very, very scary game that you've made here to talk about, sir. I bet you have crazy nightmares if you have this kind of imagination. But before we get into your game, we have to get to know you, sir, and your relationship to video games. That is Buck and I's mission. So our first and one of our most important questions that we ask everybody is, can you remember how old you were when you first discovered video games, when you saw your first video game, maybe when you played your first video game, what video game it was?
Maybe about 7 to 8 years old. And it was on a knockoff kind of a console. So it was just like, I guess something like a Nintendo, but a knockoff version. Probably the game was either Contra or Excite Bike or I remember those.
Armaan, my first game I ever played was Excite Bike in the arcades. Excite Bike Versus.
Nice. I loved Excite Bike.
It's cloudy for me because by the time I was born, I had a Nintendo in my room because Buck had moved on to the Super Nintendo. I think my first game may have been Excite Bike 2. It's either that or it's for the console for sure, for the NES. It's always fun because then you'll get to know how old people are when you tell that, because we had someone last week and they were like, Pokemon Pearl. And I was like, damn, you are a child. All right, cool. I was like, that's your first. My first video game was Fortnite. I'm like, oh.
We're getting there.
Do you, Armaan, have a favorite video game of all time?
It's such a hard question.
I do actually have a very well-maintained list, and The Witcher 1 has been on top of it for a long time.
Heck yeah,
The Witcher 1.
Yeah.
First one.
And
Whoa.
I often
Good
wonder
taste.
if I should say it or should I just skip to my second one, which is Mass Effect, which is a more like a normal answer. But
well, that's interesting. I would love to. Why Witcher 1?
Yeah.
So
for you,
I played it, I think, about when the enhanced edition came out, a year after the original. And first I bounced off it because it was so weird and so difficult to get into the combat and everything. Then somehow I tried it again, and I think just the story, atmosphere, it was unlike anything else. It was very Slavic, I think, as that got a little diluted in the newer games. But the story and the decisions were something I'd never experienced in a game.
That's cool. That's a good choice.
it got more fantastical in the later ones. Is basically what you're saying. Like it was more Slavic and more true to life, like historical wise or something. Is that what you mean?
Just the atmosphere was a lot stronger and
Right.
a lot stranger. So I think just being a little older, it gave it a little strange vibe. And
yeah, man, I bounced off The Witcher. I tried to play The Witcher 3, and it was the same thing that you said, where I was like, I don't really it's this very strange structure for the quests, and then the combat was impenetrable for me. I was just like constantly getting my ass kicked by wolves. I was like, there's no way the wolves are the hardest enemy in the game. I don't know why I'm struggling so much with the wolves.
No, it turns out you went the wrong way, and the wolves are the strong. No.
Yeah. And then Mass Effect is the answer we get a lot. Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2 is the answer that we give.
And
Great game.
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
I like Mass Effect 1 better than Mass Effect
Same.
2.
Yeah.
I'll stand by that all day.
I
And
was
I've said that before on the show.
slightly disappointed with Mass Effect 2. when it came out.
Armaan, you're speaking my language. I didn't like that they changed the engineer class. I liked him before when he was like, when they added the claw and the melee and the crouching, and I was like, I don't really fuck with any of this.
I disagree with both of you. No, I agree to disagree.
Yeah, I mean, all three of them. I even loved third,
Yes.
Mass Effect 3 a lot.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just brings it all together. So yeah, great games.
Those are great.
Do you just told us the top two, and they're both third person adventure RPGs. Would you say that's your preferred gaming genre in general, or are those just sort of anomaly games for you? Do you have a preferred genre of video game?
Yeah, I mean, RPGs, Western RPGs, so kind of the BioWare kind of games. I mean, if I continue down the list, it's Dragon Age, it's Elder Scrolls Oblivion, it's Fable. So it's, 4-5 of those games are just very similar of a type.
Yeah, Dragon Age, the first one, is your favorite,
Yes.
you'd say?
Legends.
God,
Nice.
yeah. Agreed.
Good ass
Agreed.
answer. Awesome. We had someone, Japanese RPGs we've gotten before, but nobody's said Western RPGs yet. That's cool.
And honestly, I never got into Japanese RPGs. So I don't know, maybe I just didn't grow up with them. I don't
think a lot of people have. They're not really making them anymore, except for in Japan. Although, have you played Expedition 33?
Yes.
But I will ask, what have you been
Nice.
playing lately, Armaan? Anything in particular?
Right now I'm playing Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess.
I've never played the Kinetsugami. Is there multiple of those, or there's just one right now?
I think there's just one. It's by the people who made the other game with the wolf.
That's
it's
also
like a painterly wolf kind of.
Third-person Western style action RPG, basically, right? Or no?
No. It's a Japanese game, and it's Kunitsugami is kind of like, I don't know what to call it, but maybe kind of like a tower defense. I don't know if that's the right description, but you kind of lay a path where a goddess will, walk till the end of the level, and you have to protect her. So you lay up your defenses first, and your defenses are basically villages. And then the monsters start coming, and you have to defend them.
I remember seeing this when it came out. Didn't know it was Capcom, first of all, which is crazy. But I did not touch it. This is looks really cool.
Yeah, it's strange. Like, I don't remember when it came out, but this word was in my head for a while. Kunitsugami. I don't know. I heard it in some podcast or something.
Yeah.
I was like, what is Kunitsugami? So one day I just Googled it. And then I just saw the art style. And I was like, okay, I got to play this because it's
Great art style.
I love Capcom so much. They're the
good.
best.
This game is almost 2 years old.
Yeah, I remember.
Wow.
I've also, like you said, it's like I heard this word before for sure, but I'm pretty sure I saw the commercials and was like, it looks like Neo or something. You know what I mean? Like just like some
That's what it kind of looks like, right?
third-person game, or you know what I mean? I was like, that's not really my thing. I'm more of a strategy guy.
Totally different style.
That sounds like something I would fuck with, though. That sounds very cool. Well, very cool, very cool. So,
Thanks for the recommendation.
yeah, thank you. Let's talk about your life as a game developer now. Let's pivot. Have you always wanted to make video games, Armaan, since you were a kid, or what did you want to be when you grew up?
Yeah, I think I'd say that would be the dream career, and it always was something I wanted to do. But it also felt impossible. So I was like, okay, that's the dream career, but I'm never going to do it. And especially, being here in India, like when I was thinking of my career, so that would be like, I don't know, 10 years ago. There was nothing, like no Steam, no Unity, none of that. So more than 10 years ago. So I was like, okay, not games. So what else can I do? Something in art. From art, I went to architecture. Didn't like that. Started getting into films. Then I was like, okay, I studied architecture for 5 years while dreaming of films. And then when I got the chance to work on a show on a TV set, I really didn't like the experience. It was not my vibe. I like sitting in a room on a computer, being in the zone. And that was just the opposite. This is like 100 people. And it's like a construction
chaos.
site. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not alone. That's a recurring theme actually along
So many
indie
people.
game devs.
Yes,
Interesting.
including the guy that made Twisted Metal that we talked to, David Jaffe. He also wanted to make movies,
then
made
hated
a couple small ones, and was like, "Fuck this! This sucks."
Yeah.
I myself had that same experience. I also went to film school and then did 2 movies and was like, "Nope, this is not this is
Fun. Not
absolute
fun.
insanity." Wow. So how did you make the leap then? Like, how did you get started making video games?
So yeah, I was doing the film thing for like, I got in through a friend's uncle, so it was kind of like a favor and an unpaid thing. And 1 month in, I was like, I can't do this, but I was like, maybe I should stick it out for 2 months because this was a favor. But like 1.5 months in, I was like, no, I gotta get out. So I called him up. I said, sorry, and went back home. I thought, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do because my plan was films all along. So let's get a 9 to 5 job in architecture because that's what I'm qualified for, and figure it out. And yeah, during that job, which was always going to be temporary, a friend and I started discussing, business. I don't know. We were just like, let's be business people. Like, I don't know what business. So it was just like, everyone's being an entrepreneur.
Magical.
So let's be entrepreneurs, I guess.
Yeah.
And start looking into it. And I'm like, what am I going to sell? Mattresses? Like, I don't know. So
Yeah.
then he said, like, why not video games? And I'm like, because around that time, this was 10 years ago and still people were going on about the indie apocalypse. So I was like, no, it seems like a disaster to get into this. It's too risky. But then I realized, like, if there's anything I understand, it's video games. Like, I don't really know anything else which I as well as I know video games. So it might be difficult, but it might be the only thing that'll work for me. And I wanted to do the films and story and everything, so that also fits in with video games. So my friend and I started kind of like brainstorming stuff. He ended up going out of the country for further education, so he kind of was out of the picture. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna make a video game. I'm gonna make it alone and figured out the tools. Unity.
I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah. And once the idea was there, I was like, excited, and I had a story in mind and just went for it.
Cool. Wow. A lot of people, like Buck said already, make the jump from movies to games because they obviously share a lot of the same aspects media-wise. But the architecture is interesting because I feel like, were you interested in, because I my head's like, why architecture then to art? And it's just like, well, because there's a lot of art in architecture. Sure. Are you one of those people? Like, I can see some people are just in love with buildings because of, like, if you look at them the right way, they're lovely. You know what I mean? Like, which is very similar to being a cinematographer and taking something boring and looking at it with a correct lens from a correct distance and it becoming very nice. I don't know. That's an interesting path.
Yeah.
What is your favorite aspect of the game creating process then? Or do you have a least favorite aspect? Is that easier to to find?
I kind of do everything and I more or less like all of the parts. Maybe surprisingly not so much of that's really specific, but like I hate placing props around a level. So like filling in a level, I really hate that. But
it's like set design. It's back to the film thing, right? It's like set design.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, you gotta fill in with random stuff. Like, it's kind of tedious. But
that's a whole job for someone on the film set design. Because if you want to do it really well, you have to put some sort of thought into it.
I mean,
let me put some bullshit here.
I do appreciate that the logic or the environmental storytelling behind it. Like, you can tell a character's story through their room or their environment. So I like
posters
that.
on the wall or things that they collect.
Yeah. But I just don't like the act of placing those things.
That's funny. That's funny. The actual, like, most people seem to like the inception phase, the thinking of all the cool things part. But we have found a couple of people that enjoy, doing the implementation of the actual coloring and I don't know how any of it works, so I can't technically speak to it. They make it color. They like that part. I'm an idiot. Anyhow, moving on. The name of your company is Frostwood Interactive. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Why that name? Why Frostwood Interactive?
It's kind of dumb, but I just like woods and just cold, frosty weather. I just put those.
Is it a
two
city in
together.
The Witcher that I didn't know about?
No.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like
you
it'd
have
be, we must go quest to Frostwood and
Kill the
defeat
witch of
ogres."
Frostwood and bring back her tooth.
It's a cool
It would
fantasy name.
probably be a lot more Polish sounding if it was in The Witcher.
Right.
yeah, you're. I don't
Frostwood
know
is
what.
too.
Yeah, thank you. So is it just you, or is it anybody else help you ever, or what's the situation at Frostwood Interactive?
Yeah, so I mostly work with freelancers. So for like Shutter Story, I'm working with the programmer who's built the whole the software that you use to analyze the photos. So she's done all the programming for that. And then I have a composer for the music. Then someone's helping with marketing. So yeah, it's kind of like I just put it all together, and then wherever I need help.
I was looking at your page. I see Dino Digital helped you make some games before this.
Yeah.
How did they find you? And because you're not working with them in Shutter Story, right?
Yeah. So
It seemed like this was your first self-published game.
the first game was fully self-published, which was Rainswept.
Okay. That's like the
So-
detective mystery
yeah.
game, right?
Yeah.
So
Explain, yeah.
Dino Digital is also based in India. They're based in Bombay. So I met them at an expo, and this was their first entrance into games. So it was not exactly a publishing thing, because I had published a game before, so I kind of knew how to publish. But they were just like, we'll help you out. What do you need? So at the point, I needed somebody to make character models. I needed a little bit of funding. So they were very like, fit in wherever you need any assistance.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, that leads us into Shutter Story. I already explained what it is. I will say Shutter Story is a bit different than your other games. Your other games seem pretty sweet. I mean, the first one is a detective game, but you have that like a couple of different like story-driven, very sentimental looking. I didn't play them. I just watched the trailers, but they looked nice and kind and filled with clear skies. And
Did you have a nightmare?
Yeah, what happened, Armaan? What made you? Yeah,
I think this is much more my thing, horror or noir or kind of the darker theme. So
cool.
Rainswept was a detective story. It was a murder mystery. It was a lot of trauma and how people react because of that. There was some ghost scenes as well. So darker is something that I usually go for. With the second and third, Forgotten Fields and Unwording, I was kind of like not sure of what to do at that moment. It was kind of like a creative block. So Forgotten Fields was about a creative block. So I just wrote about my block because that's the easiest thing to do at that point.
Classic.
Clever.
Classic adaptation move.
Yeah.
Good idea. Yeah.
And so that just kind of came about from the situation. And Unwording was also kind of along the same line. So after Forgotten Fields, I was working on a horror game, a first-person horror game, shooter, kind of like Silent Hill plus Half-Life kind of vibe. And I was kind of struggling with it and finding the scope too big and just not in a good mental state. So I don't know, I went on a tangent. I was like, okay, I need to do something small that I can just, keep up momentum with and just launch something. So I was like, okay, let's make a 4-month game, which turned out to be Unwording. And I was a lot, into figuring out thoughts and, negative thoughts, how they can color your world and all those things. And as I was researching that, I ended up building it. So that also kind of just came as an unplanned game. And then after Unwording, I returned to that first-person shooter horror game, but spent over a year on it. The scope continued to be too big and didn't get any funding. It just kind of like became too heavy and it was going nowhere, so I had to just cancel it. And then, Shutter Story sort of just came out of nowhere after I canceled it.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Oh.
Do you have an answer for that?
Yeah.
What?
I think it's
Oh yeah.
Hell
What is
yes.
it? What is it?
Pulse. It's a Japanese.
Pulse. Oh, I feel like we should know this. Buck goes to
Right?
Japan every year and has done so for the past decade or something like this.
Yeah.
What is that Pulse about?
Ooh.
It's a 2000s movie, and it's about the anxiety around that time regarding the internet and technology. So it's basically somebody gets a CD or something which logs them into a website from where you can see other people, but the other people are ghosts. I mean, it's kind of...
Oh, I have heard of this.
Yeah, so
Okay.
It looks super cool.
Now I must watch this.
Now I have to find out where I
a
can
movie
watch it.
recommendation as well. Very
I love
good.
it. We both love horror movies. I
Yes.
absolutely love horror movies. So that's flipping awesome.
I wanted to say if I didn't, I guess, drill down in more detail about Shutter Story. Shutter Story is one of these new style of puzzle games, almost I'd call it, that I've begun referring to as assessment games. So Quarantine Zone, Papers, Please is like Last Report. Buck is a
Home Safety Hotline.
Home Safety Hotline. These games where you're basically having to just like assess a person or in this case, a picture and trying to find things inside of it.
Right.
And man, that combo goes well with horror. Holy shit!
Yes, it
Because
does.
like with Papers,
Constant
Please,
tension.
and also I love what you've done with having a world outside of the actual, checking the pictures thing, because
Agreed.
the fact that it gets introduced so early sort of lets you know that at any time you could be ripped away. Something from that, world, quote unquote, could touch you, quote unquote, while you're doing the pictures. And so it's just like anytime I would do I'd be like, all right, I'm going to move the slider. And I'd like hold my breath, be like, please don't do anything. It reminded me a lot of a movie that I think is underrated that I like a lot, which is the first Paranormal Activity movie. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That movie was fucking scary when it came out, especially in theaters. And my favorite thing that movie does is it'll just hold on nothing. And then the music does such good heavy lifting. The score that you've got made for this game is very eerie. And just the fact that it's asking me to like lean in so close to observe things. And I was impressed with your restraint. How there's basically no jump scares in the entire demo, at least that I played. But my eyes were watering the entire time I was playing because I was so fucking nervous. It was like literally hard to look at the screen. Like I was just like, I hope I don't see.
See, I felt my experience was like almost the exact opposite. I was going into like analysis mode on the photos, trying every combination of different things. And when I unlocked the night vision, the other stuff, trying all this, I didn't do nearly as good as Mack did, by the way, on finding everything in the photos. But my sense of dread happened the moment it had me step away from the computer screen. I was like, now go explore the house.
Fuck. Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah. All the doors, you can go by them and try to open them. And I was like, I hope none of them open.
It instantly becomes like phasmophobia. Like, I don't want to go around that corner. I don't want to know what's around that corner.
I wrote in my notes, it reminded me a lot of like phasmophobia, but you have less agency. So it's scarier because you have no recourse. Like all I can do is look at these photos, and the game has not told me whether or not it's going to do anything outside of that. And the presence of the mystery of whether or not that is going to happen.
So you weren't excited when it transferred from photos to videos?
Oh my fucking God, I died. I was like, no.
Why you do this?
And then you could play them in slow motion, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to play it in slow motion. Click. And I'm just, my eyes are watering, just like, oh, please God, I hope I don't. Because I found all 8 of the things in the demo, all 8 of the apparitions. Buck did not.
I was like 50%, 60%.
And every time you find one, my skin would crawl because there's a lot that don't. The game straight up tells you ahead of time, listen, a lot of them are regular. So you end up spending a bunch of time going, is that a good? No, I don't think so. No. And then when you finally saw them, you're like, you're relieved because that's the objective of the game, but you're also like, like you have a moment where you're like, oh, ghost. Oh my God. And then you're like, I hope me finding this doesn't trigger something in the game to fucking scare me, because it kind of does, it's just like that part you hear the crash in the living room and you go out and there's worms crawling out of the wall. And man, really good ass fucking atmosphere. Way to do a lot with a little. It's like some Jaws shit where the less is more idea. You know what I mean?
So I got to ask, because you're our first horror indie dev on, do you scare yourself when some of those things happen, when
That's
you
a
have to
good
do it like
question.
30, 40, 100 times, is it no longer scary? Do you get like that aha scary moment and then you have to like throw it at friends or other people to say, hey, go try this and just tell me what happens in your brain?
I think in the beginning, there came a point after which it kind of just became work. But in the very first month when I had the idea and I started researching, looking at photos. So there was one day when I was going to meet a friend for dinner. And before that, I was sitting at home alone at night and going
Like all
through,
good horror movies start.
going through the photos, researching. And I don't really remember, but at one point I really got freaked out. And I think something happened, maybe something in the house, like some light went out or the TV came on its own. Something happened. I remember there were a couple of things happening around that point. A couple of days before, we had also watched a horror movie at my place, and my friend was like, "This bad energy. We got to watch some comedy." So it's all in my head.
You gotta cleanse our brains.
Yeah, it was
our
like this bad
palates.
juju. And we had been watching horror for a couple of days, and then I was going through this really immersed in all the photos, real photos, and I just freaked out. And I had like half an hour more to go before I had to meet him, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go early because I can't stay in this house anymore. And
Right? I'm gonna watch kitten videos for the next 30 minutes.
I was scared to go to my bedroom, and I was just like, there is something in this house.
That's awesome.
That
so
happened.
scary. The pictures are creepy as fuck,
Yeah.
by the way.
Even the ones that are normal.
Right. They're just, you said you had someone helping you make those?
The photos, no. It's
No. Okay,
just
that's the
software.
generator thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's the software.
That's the
Tell me
software.
about the creation of the photos. Like, did you draw inspiration from real photos, or did you just some of them are just, I don't know. You did good job posing things where it looks like a real cursed family photo is
Right.
the only way I can explain it.
I think, yeah, so they're basically real vintage photos from stock websites. But they're not posed for ads or anything. They're just, somebody in the 80s, they took a photo of their family and then they're like, probably they can make some money off it. So they put it on a stock
Yeah.
website. So it's a real family's photo. So I think that's what gives it the effect. Because for early on, I was trying to figure out how can I, do this mechanics. Should I like pose the characters in the house? But then I would not have many locations. It would just be the house.
Right.
Right.
I was like, nothing is looking as good as these photos that I'm going through. So I need to find real vintage stock photos. That's what I'm using. And then I just Photoshop the faces of the characters, which I already have.
Man, yeah.
Put them on these characters so that they
Right.
resemble the
It
family.
matches the narrative, right? Because the
Yeah.
narrative is you're going through a family's photo album and a family's, history to find.
Yeah. So if they
curse.
don't even look like the characters, it won't make any sense. So
Right.
yeah,
We're not
it's-
looking at their faces. It would make sense to us. We're looking in the background for apparitions.
No,
and-
I was. Oh my god, the shot of it's like a kid sitting on a counter.
Yeah.
And that was the photo where I realized you can zoom in, and I out loud said, "Oh hell no!" So I was like, "Now I have to zoom into this kid's face," and I was just like, "Oh god, he's horrifying looking! Oh my god,
No, I know exactly which picture you're talking about now, and I didn't do that.
it's so
Oh,
scary." And then there's
gosh.
one with oh my god, it's like a guy and his wife, and they have a little girl in between them, and the guy's got an extra hand. Spoilers. And when I saw it, I went, and I
See, you're
gasped,
better
and
at
I was
this
like,
than me.
"Oh my god, oh fuck this, god damn
you're
it!" I was
better
like,
at
"This
this than
game's
me.
so fucking fucked up." It looks so scary.
I was poring over things, and I didn't see details like
That's
that.
amazing. That's amazing. One last kind of question about that underlying storyline that's going in there. The uncle character, or whoever that's moved in with you,
Very
that seems to
aloof.
be he comments about it being the like 2002 or 2001. He's talking about the stock market coming back, and I was just like, oh wow, interesting. I was like, is this meta commentary on the
period.
state of collapse of like the housing market, or what was or is this just because you didn't want like cell phone photos to be a thing in the game?
Yeah. So setting it in 2000s was just the retro kind of aesthetic that I wanted to go for, just the atmosphere. It works better with this kind of horror, these kind of photos, and don't want cell phones. It's just a nice time period to set a story in. And
Okay.
the stock thing, yeah, it's around the time of the .com bubble. So
Right.
I'm working with some storyline with that character. So
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Because, Buck, I don't know if because it was like optional, but you can go out like to the patio
Oh,
and listen to the uncle is like having a conversation on the phone with somebody.
I did not hear that
And you
part.
can-
no.
you can
I interacted
eavesdrop
with all
on
the characters
him.
in the house, but I guess I told you I was too scared to explore the house.
It was good game. Good game.
That's pretty good. Yeah, and now you're coming off the back of a successful Kickstarter, so Shutter
Right.
Stories full speed ahead, right?
yeah,
That's
That's
perfect.
that hit the stretch goal for voiceovers. So that's going to be good.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, nice.
great.
That's amazing because I like the writing. I thought it was it
Yeah.
was one of those things where I'm not surprised that you also are a person that came from film. It's usually people that just want to tell stories, you know what I mean? And then they're like movies, and then they're like, man, video games. Yeah. So that was released holidays last year. Or at least it was on Steam. Do you have anything else
Oh, the
cooking
demo.
in the kitchen?
This is what he's doing now.
Do you
Now
have
the
anything
Kickstarter.
else? For future projects? More horror games? Maybe you'll make your own Western RPG, or are you just thinking about Shutter Story right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about finishing this, and depends how well it does. I think, if it does really well, possibly more of the same for a while.
Cool. Perfect.
Yeah, it's fun.
Buck,
Yeah.
do you have any other questions or comments about Shutter Story?
I do a hell of a baby voice. You can cast me as the baby in the
Hell of a baby voice.
No,
My man's
never
got
mind.
a hell of a baby voice.
Never mind. You don't want me. No.
Well, very good. I think that is all the time we will steal from you today, Armaan. Is there anything? Obviously, go on Steam, buy Shutter
Wishlist.
Story,
Yep.
wishlist Shutter Story. Follow it. All the stuff that you can fucking do on Steam. Follow Armaan's company, Frostwood Interactive. For his, he's got other projects on there. This is that detective game that we were talking about earlier looked a lot like Disco Elysium to me.
Oh yeah,
Very
like a
similar
2D format,
vibes. You're
yeah.
like, yeah, that's good. But
You got a target release date for Shutter Story you're shooting for?
Mid this year,
mid this year. Okay.
before.
Is there
holiday.
anywhere else you would like people to follow you or give you money or whatever in the meantime, Armaan?
Yeah, I mean, the Twitter is Frostwood Int, so you can find me there. You can also find my Discord through the Twitter probably, or you can check out the Discord link through my website, which is also Frostwood Interactive. So just Google it, and either of those places I'm active.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, that does it. The regular, episodes of the Game Treasure podcast come out on Fridays. Make sure to check those out. Make sure to go check out the other episodes of the Super Interview Brothers. Make sure to stay tuned for future episodes of the Super Interview Brothers.
Yeah.
That's all that we have for you this week, I believe. Of course, go to retrogametreasure.com to start collecting retro video games the easy way. That just goes without saying. But until our next meeting, dear listener, dear viewer, my name is Mack Stein. Video games, Schmidio games. Goodbye.